Good morning, 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 good morning. I'm so excited to see you guys, but I can't actually see you, but I'm just excited to be here with you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. For those of you guys who have no idea who I am, my name is Stacey Flowers, and I'm a student of Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. I am on a journey to become 100% debt free. I really should probably look at the camera. To become 100% debt free. My current debt is right around $160,000. I'm on baby step number 2 to repay all of my debts. Currently work for myself. I don't know why I'm saying currently. I work for myself, and I work for myself part time, and I bring home right around 5K net a month. In this video, I'm going to be going over my budget for March 2020. I am so excited to see you guys. Like, I know I can't see you, but like, I am so excited to be here. I miss you guys so much. I feel like I just want to do a whole like live where I just say everybody's name, like hi Purple K, hi VLB, hi, like I just want to go through hi just Joey, hi Annette. I just want to see you guys. Like, I just want to jump through this phone and like just be with you all right now. Like, I'm so like, I miss you guys so much. You have no idea. So I'm super stoked and super happy to be here. I'm super excited. I don't know if you can tell from my face. Very excited to be doing my budget this month. 2020, man, come on guys. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know how to express the level of gratitude, joy, and appreciation that I have. But for those of you guys who have no idea who I am, because this is the first time that you're here, that's a little bit about who I am, but I do like to give this disclaimer before I go into my numbers and stuff. I like to tell people that I am a student of Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University, which means while you are watching this video, I am likely to make mistakes, and that is not intentional, but it's designed that way because I want to use the entire internet to support me in leveling up in my money management. And boy, have you guys given me that support. Like, I cannot begin to express and explain to you guys how fantastic it has been documenting this journey and having you all give me feedback in real time to support me. All that to say, internet, if you see me doing something funky on my budget or you see something that's a little bit misaligned, all you have to do is type in the little description box and I can edit that in real time, because that's accountability. And that's what I love about you guys, is that you have been holding me accountable to a promise that I made to myself. I think it's like 28 months ago now. Like 28 months ago, I made a promise to myself, and I think every month except for that season when I was like super in my grief, I feel like every month I showed up and I did my budget with me live, and you guys have been rocking and rolling with me and making this unbelievable thing happen at a much faster pace than I ever could have possibly imagined. So that is my disclaimer. I am 1,000% a student of Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. I cannot recommend this program enough. You guys, I mean, and also, I say 160,000 because I have decided that I'm going to do my number drops by 10,000. And the reason that I decided to do that is because my interest on my loans is astronomical, and it is a lot of back and forth for me to be like, oh, you know, I'm down by 2,000, but then $800 gets added back the next month. So it's just easier for me psychologically to so like I'm still between 150 and 160. So that's why I'm saying I'm 160K in debt. But as soon as I get to 149,000, like I'll be at, 150. Does that make sense? So like every drop of 10K is when I will like drop down. So that's why it's still 160, because my interest is astronomical, and because this is my one final debt, I'm actually able to feel the weight of that and really like wrap my mind around it. And we have plans to get through that interest and to deal with that interest, but I just want to let you guys know that's why I keep saying 160, because that's where we are. But here's the thing, $160,000 is all I have left. Who's excited about that? This face, like, I mean, I know that that's still a lot. I'm not gonna pretend. Like, that is not still a lot. But to go from, I believe we started at 208, then it went down to like just under 190, then it went back up because of interest, just to go from basically hanging my life around $200,000 to now being nearly at well, not nearly, we'll just say being at 160. The amount of debt that I have paid off warms all the pieces of my heart. It reaffirms, like, I've always believed that this was going to happen, right? But there's levels to belief, right? There's the belief that you have when it completely looks impossible, which sometimes is a little bit easier to believe at that level because it is so impossible. You can just run off the fumes of like what's happening in your mind. Then there's the belief that you have when you're actually making traction and you're like, oh, okay, so I guess this is going in the direction that I wanted to go in. But then there's the belief when things really start rolling and you're like, holy smokes, this is happening. Like, so levels to belief. So I'm so super stoked, right? Like 160K. Listen, I'm gonna be 100% debt free. Like 100% debt free. I'm very, very excited about that. So let's talk about important goings on for the month of March. The biggest thing going on in the month of March is that I have hired 5 whole human beings in my company. What in the world? 5 people. That's 10. 5 people. I have hired 5 people. 5 people. That means I am paying 5 human beings money from the money that my company earns. 5. Like, let's just take in a breath for 5 people will be getting money from the money that mind is entirely blown around that. That is an important goings on because that does impact my salary. Obviously, had I not hired 5 people, I would be coming away with a ton more money net. But because my company is growing and I wanted to continue to grow and I wanted to continue to do all of the things that it is doing in this quarter, these were sound decisions. So I chose in this last month, really like in these last 6 weeks, to take a lot of the revenue coming in and reinvest it in the company in terms of bringing people on board. But that is a big deal. That and I'm also bringing it up from the financial perspective. It is the reason why my income is staying at the steady amount that I have now. But also, you guys know that I talk about how money is super emotional, and I talk a lot about like my feelings and all the other stuff, like managing 5 people. Is no small feat. It's not like everybody has a different personality. Like everybody thinks they're a boss until they actually have to like be a boss of other people. Like it's a very different sort of a thing. And so I am adjusting to what it means to manage other people and what it means to be the boss of my company. And like, yeah, so that's a really big thing that's going on. That's just way more like interesting and taxing and dynamic than I would have ever thought that it could be. So that's exciting. The other exciting thing going on in March is that I'm going to Canada. This will be my first time in Canada. I am going to be speaking at the Rise conference again, and I am excited about this. Like I'm like, oh, can you feel the excitement that I have right now? I don't know how else to express it than to keep this smile on my face. I am going to Toronto, Canada to speak in an arena to thousands of women, and I'm so super excited about it. Now, I knew in January that I was going to be going to Fort Myers, but at the time I couldn't announce it because the host of the conference, she really wanted it to be a surprise to the guests. But this time she like let us all know, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a surprise. So that's why I get to show you guys all of my excitement and my enthusiasm. I literally get to do the thing I love with the types of people that I love doing it with at a level that I really want to do it at. Like it is mind blowing. So definitely going to Canada. I'll be in Canada for about a week this month. I'm sharing that because obviously you guys know that affects the grocery budget because it's a week that I'll be away, but also things will be changing around grocery stuff anyway, and you guys will get that update when we do that. The other really exciting thing that's happening from a financial perspective is that I've just recently booked my highest paid speaking gig in my whole life, and I'm like, what in the world is this? Like, what in the world? And I feel like I'll share those numbers at another time, only because I do have things like my 2K for 2K speaker training coming up, and some of the information around speaking and stuff like that will just be privy to the people who invest in that program. But I did want to let you guys know, because you guys remember, like, I wasn't speaking. So when I first started this journey, speaking wasn't a part of it yet, because I had lost like all of my confidence, all of my mojo around speaking because of just being sick and the nervous exhaustion, and like my mind, like my ability to be able to think through and just remember words and stuff like that. It just, my capacity wasn't there. So last year is when I actually got back into speaking. So to be less than a year, so my first speaking engagement was last year in February, and between December of, hold on, let me get these dates right. So 2017 is when I got sick. So December of 2016. Okay, so between December of 2016 and February of 2019, yes, December of 2016 and February of 2019, I did 2 speaking engagements. And one of the speaking engagements paid me, but they didn't pay me at anywhere near my rate. It was more like an honorarium. And then the other speaking engagement, they didn't pay me, but I love that company and doing things with that company, so it was totally fine. But I say that to say, 2 speaking engagements in approximately, what is that, 2 years? I'm thinking I'm doing this math right, 2016 to 2019, so 2.5 years. So my speaking business was effectively closed because I was not marketing, I wasn't putting myself out there, none of that. Then when I reopened my speaking business in February of last year, I reopened it at a speaker fee that was even less than what I made when I was speaking before, right? So there was just all this sort of like confidence, personal like integrity things going on. And so to be where I am right now, where I have, this is the highest rate speaking, like this speaking fee blows my mind, okay? And my mind is not easily blown, as you guys can see with my audacious goals and whatnot. So super, super stoked about that. That is an important goings on because it will affect my personal budget, and it will affect more of the numbers that you guys see as we're going along in this journey, because now that I know that that's my speaker fee, I mean, that's my speaker fee, okay? It's just my speaker fee. The last thing that I think is an important goings on for March is I decided that I'm not going to move. I know last month somebody had asked me the question if I was going to move, and I said yes, and I like immediately started crying. And I need to accept and acknowledge that, like, when I have a negative, look, well, not negative, but when I have an emotional response that doesn't match what I'm saying, it's probably because I don't want to do that. And I think what was happening is I was getting this major influx of income. I was getting this major sort of like shifts and changes, and it was just like, oh yeah, it's perfect to move. That I was just like, oh well, I guess I'll move because that's just what you do. But I don't want to move. Like, I love my apartment. I haven't finished decorating this apartment. I love my neighborhood. Like, I have no desire to move. And I think also because my lease, they had already sent the thing of like, are you going to renew? If you don't renew, and then I was like, oh, they're going to increase my rent, and all these other things. But like, I really like my apartment, so there's no reason for me to move. It doesn't matter how much money I make. It really doesn't. And the thing of it is it doesn't really matter how much they raise the rent to, because if I'm making more money, what difference does it make, right? Like, I don't have to move. So that feels really good. The reason why I'm sharing that again is because that impacts the budget, because rather than me thinking through moving and preparing for that, like, I can just think through finishing decorating my home and making it truly like a space for myself. So, and you guys can kind of see that with some of the bookshelves that I have there, some little things that I'm adding. So that is exciting. Those are the important goings on for March. I'm hoping that you guys will see that reflected in the content that I share in March, but just want to let you guys know because that does affect the budget. My income for March is going to be $5,000. And then the greatest lesson that I've learned, which is something that I wanted to start adding to the top of these budget videos, are lessons that I learned. The greatest lesson that I've learned in like the last month coming into this month is you and me, we are exactly who we are, and money only makes us more of who we are. And what I'm realizing is that one of the reasons why people have such a hard time around money, whether it's money management, it's saving money, it's earning money, it's spending money, right? Because those are the money problems that I talk about that you can have in the Money Mindset Manual. whatever one of those four money problems that you have, it all boils down to, or it all comes back to, when you solve for that money problem, you are going to be more of who you are. And if you don't want to solve for that money problem, or if you're having challenges for solving for that money problem, it is because you have not yet accepted who you are. Like, the more and more financially secure I have become, the more and more myself I have become. And the more and more of my personality it has expressed itself. And for people who know me, it's like, yeah, this is who you are. But for people who don't know me, they're like, oh my gosh, it's like you're out of your shell. It's like it's just like, yeah, but that's all. I've always been a happy-go-lucky person. I've always been a deliriously enthusiastic person. Like, I've always been somebody who was way more optimistic than my life circumstances should have allowed me to have in terms of a disposition on life. But it wasn't until I started to solve for my money problem, which my money problem, and we talked about this before, my money problem is money management. I don't have an income problem, and I don't have a spending problem. I have a management problem, and I have a savings problem. And as soon as I get finished with this money management problem, aka pay off all my debt, we're gonna move right into solving for my savings problems. Because what I realize is that now that I am financially secure, now that I am in this space where money management is more, it's like breathing to me, I am so much more myself and so much more comfortable in my skin. And so it made me think about how afraid we are to be ourselves. Like, the hardest thing that you'll ever be in life is yourself. And that it shouldn't be that way. But we have so many things conditioning us, telling us like, well, this is who you should marry. This is when you should get married. This is when you should have kids. This is when we have so many things conditioning us about what we're supposed to do and who we're supposed to be. And we don't realize that we quite literally can't afford to be ourselves. Like, we can't afford to be ourselves, because the idea of actually being yourself comes with a sort of like tax that says, okay, well, if you're yourself, then this group of people isn't going to like you, or if you're yourself, then you can't participate in these activities. But it's an error. The truth is the more you get your money together, the more you organize your money, the more you are actually able to be yourself. And it's actually quite scary for people to just stand up and be like, this is who I am. It makes me think of Marianne Williamson's quote that it's not our darkness that frightens us, it is our light that frightens us. We are petrified, and we use money as an excuse to stay hidden. We use the lack of money as an excuse to stay hidden. Now, this is not to say that there are not other factors that impact it. This is for the people who have been working on getting their money stuff together. This is for the people who've invested in the money mindset manual. This is for the people who are trying to figure out how to do money. This is for people who are at a level of self-awareness where you get that it's you are the you who's impacting what's happening with your money. This is for those people. What I'm telling you is that in addition to you having that money problem, the other thing that you have is a fear of being, maybe not, fear is not the right word. The other thing that you have is a misunderstanding about what's going to happen when you make the money. All that's going to happen is you're going to be more of yourself. And I get how that's scary, because then it means you're actually out there. You're actually visible. It means that when somebody hurts your feelings, you know who they hurt? You. They really hurt your feelings because you really put yourself out there. But here's what, guys, like, being this far out into it, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like, I had no idea that I wasn't being myself. Like, I had no idea that money would just make me happier. Money would just make me more optimistic. Money would just make me more generous. Money just made me more of who I am. And if you want to be more of who you are, if you think you're a good person, if you think you're a great person, if you think that the world needs to hear what you have to say, get your money together, because money just makes you more of who you are. And we need more great, good, beautiful, super fantastic, amazing people in the world. We need that. So that's the March lesson. And now what I'm going to do is, let me grab these sheets so that you guys can see what we're working with. I'm going to do the Quickstart budget. I'm going to do the cash flow, and I'm going to do the allocated spending. If you guys want these forms, all you have to do is in the link in the description box, hit that link. It'll say budget forms. Just hit that link in the description box, put your email in, and I will send you the forms right away. So without further ado, let me turn you guys over and let's get into March's budget. Okay. I don't want all those cords in there like that. Okay. Here we are. Here we are. That's better. Oh man, I'm so excited. And we will be answering questions. What I do to keep this time frame from going over too far is I do my budget in this video, and then I pop out and pop back in to answer questions in a second video. So if you guys want to put your questions in this video, feel free to put your questions in this video, and I will answer them in our Q&A video that follows this one. So let's get into these numbers. So you guys know that my income is going to be $5K for this month. Oops, sorry, kale. My income is going to be, ooh, goodness me, Pete. My income is going to be $5K for this month. So I pay 10% of my income to tithes. So that would be $500. And then you guys know that I put 10% towards child support. And I get asked this question a lot. Child support is voluntary. And I prioritize those and put those first because that is something that's significant and important to me. At this time, I'm not saving for anything, but I will tell you that my son's graduation and all that stuff is coming up. I'll likely cash flow it in the month that he has the activity. And then that's coming up. And then there was one more thing. Oh, I had mentioned, and you guys haven't seen this because I'm waiting. This video should have gone up before this, but you know, we got to work out stuff with my team. So this video hasn't come out, but in the video, I talk about how I do want to visit my son, at the end of a month, beginning of another month, like each month. So that'll be something new that we're added to the budget, but rather than creating a savings account for it, we're just going to take it out of the actual budget that we're spending it in. So we come down here to my rent. It is $937, and this includes the second gas that I used to have to pay separately. Then my renter's insurance is $575, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use this. $937 plus $575 means this total is $942.75. All right, then my electricity, you know, guys, not gonna lie, I don't know what's happening with my utility bills, but they're not staying even. And again, you guys haven't seen this in the video yet, but my card, I don't want to, they're not staying even. And I don't know, I think I'm being absent-minded. I'll say maybe some of it was grief, some of it was what happened with my card. I don't know. I'm being absent-minded in some sort of way, but this is not shaking out to be the 25. And I could just lie and be like, it's 25, knowing good and all go well, I'm paying more, but I don't know what's happening here. I think I'm just being lazy, so I need to fix that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 40 here and 40 here. And you guys know this is normally $25, but you'll see in my budget report card for January and in my budget report card for February, ooh, my hands are a little bit dry. Sorry guys, that those numbers didn't shake out to be that. So to get in front of I think what it just is me being lazy. I got to figure out what's going on there, but that brings that to 80. And I just want to be transparent about that, those numbers just aren't shaking out to be the 25, which I'm assuming is just because I'm no longer on the budget plan. And I think I'm no longer on the budget plan because of what happened with my card, but I can't say for 100% for sure. Can't say. All right, so now we're gonna come over to groceries, which you guys will see another dramatic change. I wanna go get some lotion so bad. You'll see another shift here. When you see my budget report card for January and my budget report card for February, you will see that I went over budget. And so rather than continuing to go over budget, I'm just going to be more generous here, and I'm gonna give myself a $250 grocery budget. In part, this $250 grocery budget is because of the lifestyle change with, okay, I'm gonna go get some lotion because this is a lot. Every time I see my little ashy hands. In part, it is a lifestyle change because I'm going to the gym about 5 to 6 times a week. now. And the reason for that is because I'm working on my New York Times best-selling book. I am also speaking more, and I am managing a staff of 5. And so stress management is like the highest priority in all the land for me right now. And the best form of stress management for me has been therapy and physical fitness. But in order for me to go to the gym that often, I have to eat all the time. It's kind of ridiculous. I love food, but I don't eat unhealthy food, and I don't eat high calorie foods naturally. Like, I'm just genuinely not attracted to high calorie food, so I need to eat all the time. And to give myself more food and a little bit more variety, because to take care of myself in this fuller season that I'm in, it is turning into more food. So that is why that grocery budget is up, that is higher. The other thing too is that I have been ordering protein, well, not protein, but meat. So hamburger patties, salmon, and hamburger patties, salmon, and just ground beef from from Costco, to get it in bulk, so that way I don't have to like go back and forth to the store. And there's a little bit of a delivery fee, not that much. I think it's like $3.50 when I order that. But also when I'm ordering that, that's like $100 of meat that I'm spending on meat, which you guys know that I wasn't consuming meat like that before, but my lifestyle was much more sedentary at the beginning of this journey than it is now. And I'm finally accepting that I move my body too much to not eat more food. And if I want to maintain this weight and I want to maintain a level of mental and emotional health, like I just have to eat more. So that is why the grocery budget is $250, and you guys will see in the budget report cards that I definitely went over budget. And even with me traveling, like, because sometimes when I'm traveling, like 3 of the 6 days that I'll be in Canada are actual business days. The other 3 days are personal days, and I want to maintain my integrity around expensing those meals. So if I don't want to use my business card on personal days to buy my food, because that's not being honest. So stuff like that, like even though I'll be out of town, like I'll still be eating on personal expenses. So I want to be mindful to build that into the budget as well. Clothing, I am going to do clothing, but I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to get my son some clothes. I'm just going to come back to it in a second after we get some other numbers. I'm not going to put it on this sheet. I'm going to put it on another sheet, because it's not like a necessity. It's more like the season is changing and he keeps growing. Well, I guess it's a necessity. I'm going to get him clothes, but I'm going to put it on the cash flow plan, not on this one, because this, for me, the Quickstart budget is really looking at what my money is doing in terms of my immediate needs. So yeah, transportation. Now, I don't know what's going on with Uber. I have no clue. It used to cost $7.50 max to get to my therapist's office. The last 3 times that I took Uber, it cost $13 or more to get to my therapist's office, which means it's basically costing me double to get to my therapist's office. And Uber puts a little sign in there and says that traffic is busier than usual, which could be accurate, because I used to go to therapy on Thursdays and now I go to therapy on Tuesdays, and that could be affecting it. I don't know, but I say that to say I'm over budget in my transportation, because even if I just go to therapy, it's not enough to really get through the whole month of just going to therapy. So rather than giving myself 50 here, I'm going to give myself 75 here. I'm hoping that is just a seasonal thing with Uber. I know that they just recently added a couple features. I don't know, but that kind of, like, this past month I was like, what's going on? Like, but making the adjustment for that rather than just going over budget. So that's 75 there. And then my life insurance is $26.50. My health coverage is $150. And then I don't have any of these other expenses. So I will grab that plus this which is 176.50. So let's add up my totals. 176.50 plus 75 plus 250 plus 800. Nope. So this total would actually be 1,000 up here, guys. So 1,000 plus 942.75 plus 80 plus 250 plus 75 plus 176.50. All right, so that is a big amount. $2,524.25. So that's essentially like half my take-home pay is going to my needs, which is very, very high. Ideally, I would like to not have it that high, but that's going to come from me increasing my income. Antonia Smith said, I need you to do a video of your head wrap. I'm a white girl going through chemo and I don't want to wig, I want to wrap. Absolutely, I will, because even though I'm not having the chemo experience, my hair is low. And so a lot of times when people try to do head wraps and they don't have hair, it's hard to actually get like the fuller bun like the one that I have today. So yes, I will do a video where I show you what I use to give myself a fuller bun and how I tie different styles. Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is my Quickstart budget. This is what my money is going to do in terms of taking care of my needs for the month of March. And this is a good looking budget. It stings a little bit that my needs are half my income, but we will work that out. I'm willing to have this first quarter look like this because I am anticipating the remaining quarters to be really beautiful in terms of income. So this is what my money is doing. Now I'm going to take a look at where my money is going overall with my cash flow plan. And the cash flow plan is 2 pages that you guys will see here. It's 2 pages and it looks very similar to the Quickstart budget in that you have the categories of food, charity, all the other stuff. The biggest difference on the cash flow plan that you're gonna see is the breakdown of your personal, which is AKA your wants, and the breakdown of your debts. So on the Quickstart budget, you don't see your debts or your wants because and I get this question a lot, but if you are struggling right now and you're living paycheck to paycheck and you literally don't have any additional disposable income after you pay for your needs, this form, fill it out, but you'll notice that you won't be able to put as much on this form because at this time, all you're able to cover is your needs. That's what this form, and for me, what this form has served as. It's like, okay, Stacey, what does it actually cost for you to fulfill all your needs? It's only when I come here that I can look at my wants. And even though most people don't want to see it as a want, debts are wants. Typically, our debts are covering things that we wanted, not necessarily things that we needed, with the exception, obviously, of our mortgage and our car payment, right? And that's why those are on this form, because even though those are debts, they still show up in the need category. Everything else, all those credit cards, all that other stuff, is another form of a want that wasn't delayed. So what I like about the cash flow plan is it gives me the opportunity to take care of my needs, but also see how I'm managing for my wants. So before I put in anything else, I'm gonna copy over what my needs are so I can make sure all of those numbers are here. And then I will fill in my wants. And the box gets a little bit different here because it doesn't pull in the insurance at this point. It pulls out in the insurance on the other page. So just be mindful of that. And we're going to come back to this clothes and cleaning and laundry. We're going to come back to that category. and it is important. I know that it seems like every single month I do the same thing, but I don't. Every single month is a little bit different, and those slight differences are where the rubber meets the road. It is what makes the difference in you actually being able to go from $200,000 in debt to $160,000, because every single month I do a zero-based budget. So my priority for 2020 is my debt snowball. So before I fill in my wants right here, I'm going to fill in my debt snowball numbers, and I want to get the specific minimum. So my undergrad minimum is $715.53, and then my graduate loan minimum is $939.67. So what I want to do before I take out any other amounts is I want to see what's left over once my needs are taken care of, because that's all that I copied and pasted over here. Once my needs are taken care of and my prioritized wants, which is my debt snowball, which is the minimum on my debt snowball, once those are taken care of, how much more disposable income do I have to work with to fill in these personal, or potentially add more money to my debt snowball, or get some clothes over here. So I'm going to take my income of $5,000 minus the categories that I have on here. Okay, so I have a disposable income of $820.55, which is a beautiful amount. Which is a beautiful amount to have left over after I've paid the minimum on my student loans and after I've taken care of all of my needs, including increasing my food budget, which this is just a really beautiful amount of disposable income to have left over. So now what I'm going to do of this disposable income that I have left over, I'm going to fill in what my standard typical wants are. And the reason I did it this way is because, and it might not look like it right now because I'm not dumping massive amounts on my student loans, but my priority for 2020 is my debt. It is my priority. That's why I subtracted that first before I even came over here. My next priority for a personal want is therapy. And so I'm feeling good. So I feel like I can go to therapy twice and be solid. Then I have the gym membership, which is $49.99. Then I have my personal trainer, which you guys remember my explanation for why I still have to pay for my personal trainer is because if I cancel, then I lose all of the personal sessions that had accrued over last year when I was grieving and not going to the gym. So we're going to continue to pay for one session a month so that way those stay on board. And then I think that's it in terms of my needs. I don't know when I did my last personal hygiene haul, but I'm doing good in that area. So I don't have any personal hygiene that I need. I don't have any household pantry that I need. I'm just thinking through now, guys. I don't have any household pantry. We can put pocket money on here, but I'll wait a second to put pocket money on there. Okay, yeah, so I'm thinking through, and those are the only needs that I have. And then also over here, I just want to bring this to you guys' attention. Over here, my utilities, you remember I used to pay my phone bill out of my personal. That comes out of business now, so that's also why that number is a little bit lower. I just wanted to point that out. So let's see, let's minus therapy, let's minus the gym, let's minus personal training. So I have $580.56 left over. And this is where you guys come in. So what I want to do is at the end of the month / beginning of next month, I want to go home, and I want to go to my hometown to visit my son. So I was thinking about, because I know that the days will cross over, so it'll kind of be like the last 2 days of March and the first 2 days of April. I was thinking about taking half the budget out of this month and half the budget out of next month. I would love to know your thoughts on that. So if you guys think that I should take the full budget to go home and visit my son for about 4 or 5 days, if you think I should take that full budget out of March's budget, press 1. If you think I should take half out of March and half out of April because I will be in my hometown over that time period, over those two, it'll be the last 2 days in March, first 2 days in April, press 2. So take the full budget out, press 1, do half and half, press 2. And if you can add any sort of rationale, I would appreciate it. I would appreciate it. Okay, I'm seeing 2. So somebody said, how much is it to go see your son? It'll probably be, because I'm going to budget this time and not be emotional, and you guys will see that in the budget report card. I can usually do it for about $250. $250 to $300. I can usually do the whole visit. It just depends on what he has going on. So I'm seeing 2s. I'm seeing mostly 2s. So yeah, this month in, because you have money now, you don't know what next month will bring. Because it sounds like April will have more income. Okay. Jessica Gaines, because you want to budget and not be emotional, you need to know where you're going to spend before you go there. And that's in March. Yep. Okay. Why not make things easier? 2, okay. 2, did you ever get to bust clothing cubes? I don't know what that means. 2, half of each allows for emergency money left over to go ahead and take care of it now. Okay, so I'm seeing mostly 2s with the rationale of you're going to have more money in April, and half and half allows a little bit more money in this month. And like the way that it can shake out is like this month I can buy my ticket to go home, and then next month that can cover the cost of like my Airbnb, right? Like that's how it would probably shake out. It's like $150 for my Airbnb and $100 to $150 for my transportation to get there. So okay, so all right, what do you do with the extra money in your category? For instance, if you spend all your budget funds for transportation. So what do I do with extra money? And if I don't spend all the budget funds, I just leave it in my checking account and let it float there. Depending on the category, like if it's a food category, I usually take out cash for food, so I leave it in my cash envelope so that way I have more money to spend on cash next month. Okay, so that's one expense. So we have $580.56 left over. So that's one thing that I want to do is go home and visit my son. The other thing that I wanted to do is I want to give my son some money for clothing, or buy some clothes for my son. He's a big dude, so I don't even know how much that would be. He probably, you know what, I don't think he's gonna get clothes until April. I don't think he's gonna get clothes until April because I feel like even if I try to get him clothes this month, it's not gonna shake out well with this amount. Like, yeah, it's probably not gonna shake out well with that amount. Okay, so then, yeah, so we probably won't do clothes this month for him. All right, what else did I need or want to do? I think that's it. I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like there was something else. Nosa Hama says, shouldn't that be done from the child support? I prefer that the child support be spent however my son's father needs to spend it, and then I continue to pay and take care of my son based off of like my life. So like I understand that a lot of people feel like if they pay child support then they don't have to send any other things, but that's not my philosophy. My philosophy is my son is my financial responsibility as much as he's his father's financial responsibility, and his father is paying for a larger place. His father is paying for more utilities. His father is paying other expenses that I feel like he could use child support to cover, and that does not necessarily include me then covering the basic things that come up for my son each month. So I see them as very, very separate. But good question. I did. Buttercup Bunny said, did you give yourself pocket money yet? I didn't give myself pocket money yet. Yeah. Connie Jet, the only reason I don't want to do half for my son's clothing budget is because I don't know if you have a giant teenager, but like, even if I gave him like $200 for clothes, it'll be like 2 pair of shorts and a t-shirt. Like, I don't even understand like how his clothes are so expensive. Like, and that may be an exaggeration, but it's almost like giving him a larger amount allows him to get more clothes in bulk versus giving him a smaller amount, because then it turns into like 3 or 4 pieces versus like what we try to kind of do when we go shopping for him is do a little bit of a capsule. So like if we buy him 5 bottoms, then he gets like 10 to 15 tops. So then he can have like 2 to 3 tops with each one of his bottoms. So yeah, May will be expensive for his graduation. Maybe I'm just gonna have to get over it. Maybe I won't be able to go home this month or go see him this month. Oh man, okay. All right. Because you're right. Because I know I'll be there in May and it's going to be a mint for graduation. I'm just telling you guys now. It's going to be a mint for graduation. A mint. Prepare your minds. Yeah. Yeah. And like his shoe. Like, exactly. So like if he needed to get shoes, then, and I gave him 150, like that's the cost of shoes. So that's why it's sometimes easier to do a larger lump sum than it is to do a smaller lump sum when it comes to clothes. Obviously, I can take some of that and set it to the side. So I'm just going to put the number back up that we're working with, 580. I can take some of that and set it to the side, but I don't know. Laura Wilcox, yes, my son is going to college. He committed to a school. He got a full ride athletic scholarship. That's what it is that I'm missing. Yes, he got a full ride athletic scholarship. However, he is still in physical therapy for the injury that he had at the beginning of the year. And our insurance has lapsed on, not lapsed, but he's hit the max that the insurance will cover for, his physical therapy. But he's still in physical therapy, and his cost for physical therapy, what did his dad say his cost for physical therapy was going to be? I think his cost for physical therapy is going to be $250 a month, I think, to keep doing it until he gets the... IE Present said people with 160K of debt don't something, I'm assuming you meant don't spend a mint on anything because you don't have it. I understand that perspective, and I fully can appreciate that, and I'm going to spend a mint. Yeah, I'm going to spend a mint. So I get that. And this is probably be one of those things where it's just like people with $200,000 worth of debt, or 180, I think is when I got my personal trainer. Shouldn't have a personal trainer, but me investing in that turned out to be the best thing because of the way that I've been able to quadruple my income. This is one of those things that doesn't look right. It doesn't look right, and it's probably not right in theory, but in application, it is right specifically for me. But I totally respect that, and I totally understand, and if I was watching this, I would say the same thing. But yeah, so my son's PT is going to be $250 a month. I don't know if we have to begin paying that now, but so, okay, let me think about this. So maybe okay, what's this, March, April. Then you wouldn't go home again until May. Yeah, I guess, because see, me going home is more for me, it's not for him. That's just because my heart is like raw as I'll get out, because my kiddo is freaking coming of age. So I don't have to go home. That's just for me. I need to make some more money because I want to do all of these things. Okay, you have $500. What is the best use of this $580? Okay. All right. What is the best use? So he needs the PT, which I believe that will probably start. I feel like we have through March, but I'm not 100% for sure. Okay. A mint means a lot. A mint means like a couple grand. Like it's not gonna be a small amount for his graduation. It means a lot. Uh, all right. All right. Okay, I'm trying to be honest with myself, right? So one of the reasons why I want to go to my hometown is because I am completely raw. Like my child is becoming 18 and I just want to see him all the time. However, he needs PT and he needs clothes. And I feel like that overrides my desire to just visit with him, which means the money should be spent on him, not necessarily for me and my feelings. And oh man, but I'm trying to figure out if I'm just gonna go home anyway, right? Like that's the thing. I don't want to put something on here and then not do it. Like I'm trying to be honest with myself. All right, if you are being 100% honest, are you gonna go to your hometown anyway? Yes, I am. Okay. Dang it! Oh, this is so hard. This is very challenging. Okay. Yeah, Robin Thornton Peak. It is PT and clothing. I know that that's what it is. I know that that's what it is. But I'm telling y'all, my heart is like, girl, you about to be in Omaha. Oh, okay. So I would have to exercise some serious discipline. So, oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Dang it. Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, I know he needs the PT. The PT is definitely something that's going to come out, but it's a matter of, do I take the other part of the budget and put it towards clothes, the other part of the budget and go home? And Vanessa says stay longer in May. So that's the thing. I don't have the emotional capacity to stay in Omaha for a long time. So like I can't stay for a long time. Just psychologically, it's just too triggering for me. Yeah, I mean, he's not complaining about clothes. I'm trying to get in front of his need for clothes. Oh my God. Okay. No, I'm not from KC. My son's favorite football team is the Chiefs, so that's why you see me in KC gear. So for Lisa Dunn, Harper said, if you don't go home, how will your emotional state be? That's that part, right? Like listen, y'all, I have written 65,000 words of a forthcoming New York Times bestseller. I am delivering speeches to arena-sized groups of people. I am scaling nearly every part of my company. I am managing 5 whole human beings in my company. Like when I tell y'all I am emotionally the rawest I've ever been in my entire, like I am trembling in my skin most days from the emotional intensity of everything, which is the reason why all I wanted, and then my son is coming of age, and so all I want to do is wrap myself around him, like in a very appropriate way, but like, you know, like it's just like so much is changing, and I like, I don't know, like yeah, and he has a lot of stuff going on. Like he's the first male in our family to go graduate from high school in generations, 6 generations. Like it's not really that we're gonna do anything. It's just the presence. Like it's just the presence. Yeah, he can come see me, but I want him to be able to be with his friends and stuff like that. It's more of an interruption of his, okay. All right, we're doing PT and we're going home, and clothes are gonna be on another day. That just is the decision. Okay, so I will do PT at what was my remaining balance? That's what it is. Thanks, guys. I'm just emotional talking about it. So I would be lying if I would be like, no, I'm not gonna go home. Yes, I am. What I would probably do is end up taking money out of my business account to cover the expense, because and I don't want to do that. That's lying to myself. That's not money management. Like, just tell myself the truth. I'm gonna go home. So if I know I'm gonna do that, then just budget for it and figure everything else out. He's not screaming for clothes. The season hasn't fully clicked yet. Like that'll be fine. I'm going to go see my son. Okay. All right. Thank you, people. I needed that. Thank you very much. Okay, so 580.56. So I'm gonna set for PT. So I'm gonna for home. So I'm gonna do 280.56 to go home. 280.56 to go home. Then I will do 250 for PT. And then I will do an extra $50 over here on my student loan, just because I like the idea of putting just a little bit something extra towards my student loans. That is my truth. That is my truth. Buttercup Bunny. Yes, my son's father would contribute to half the cost of therapy. However, I am going to cover therapy. I think that, and maybe I might do a video about this. I'm not 100% for sure, but like I need you guys to understand that like my son's father is spectacular. He is taking care of our whole entire son 1,000% of the time, 150 million% of the time, 1,000% of the time. And I just need you guys to imagine being in a scenario where you get child support from the non-custodial parent, but you also get that non-custodial parent covering other expenses, so that the physical, emotional responsibility that you carry every single day is a little bit lighter, because they're showing up with a little bit more financial support. Like it's about like it's one doesn't take care of the other. But I imagine if I was receiving child support and then the person also covered another financial expense, I would feel like they appreciated the responsibility that I'm carrying every single day. I would feel like they were sharing in the weight of what it means to actually raise a child. It is like, I think that people think that child support means I send my child support, I don't do anything else. No, when you're the custodial parent, you're doing everything. And I know that because there was a time period where my son lived with me full time, right? You're doing every single thing. Like, you know, if he comes home with an attitude, I don't have to deal with that. My son's dad has to deal with that. So imagine having to deal with his attitude and his PT costs. Like they're not the same, but it's like you're being taxed on top of tax on top of tax on top of tax. And if I can alleviate any of that tax, even if it's just a little bit of financial tax with respect to raising a child, I'm gonna do that because he's my child too. Like child support does not let me off the hook for any other thing that's associated with money. It doesn't. Like, we as a family have decided that he's going to live with his father full time, and he doesn't live in our household. But you better believe if me and his father were together living in the same household, it wouldn't be, oh, well, who's going to pay for his, it would be coming out of both of us. Like it's supposed to come out of both of us. This is, for me, this is the least I could do, given that every single day you are making him breakfast and you are dealing with his attitude and you are like you're doing the heavy lifting. This is the least I can do, in my personal opinion. But again, I would imagine, and I don't know if there's any single parents on here, but if you guys want to chime in, like imagine getting child support, but then also they cover other financial expenses without you having to ask them, without you having to beg them. They just look at you and say, look, you know what? You're doing a lot. I'm gonna take care of this over here. So there's that. Let me do the math to make sure this shakes out. Thank you guys for letting me talk that out. As you guys can see, money is emotional, and it is hard to budget because you gotta be, I had to be honest with myself, and it would have been a whole lie if I would have been like, no, I'm not gonna go home. That's not true. It would have been a lie, and there's no point in me documenting a lie. So let's get these numbers taken out. So yeah, it's not, yeah, my son's father is awesome. He's not asking for the money. He's not like, he doesn't need it. He could do it. That's not what it's about. Like, and I also need you guys to remember 27 months ago, I was sending this man $20 a month. Okay? I was sending him $50 a month. And it's not about, for me, because I don't think you can make up, right? Like, it's not about for making up. It's about when you have it and you know what's right, you do what's right. When you have it and you can. You don't, I can't talk and do this math at the same time. Like, you can't make up for what you didn't do. Like, I can never make up for only being able to send $20 and $50. But now that I have the resources to send more, you send more. That's what you do. You don't say, oh, well, you know, I missed that opportunity. No, right now is the opportunity to do more and to send more, especially given that I have it. Like, yeah, so that's it. That's all. I'm done with that. So let me get these numbers subtracted so we can get to my allocated spending. You know, like when I was sending that $50, you think my son's dad called me complaining, talking about, you know, our son needs more than $50 this month? No, he just picked up the slack and just raised our child. When I mentally and emotionally and physically could not get out the bed, you think he called me and was like, you need to get yourself together? No, he just took care of our child. Like, that's what you do when you're raising a kid together. Like, so yeah. Okay, yes, it equals 0. So 5,000 minus 5,000, 0. And if anybody watching this journey is a parent who is the non-custodial parent and pays child support or whatever, I've gotten emails where people have been like, I've been inspired to send something. I was so ashamed and I was so embarrassed about the amount that I could send that I never sent anything. And watching you consistently send $20, $50 a month until your income increase inspired me to just do something. And now that I'm in a better position, I'm doing way more. And they were just like, you know, but I was afraid initially because I felt like it wasn't enough. Something is always better than nothing, period. And then you get in the habit of doing something, and then something turns into you just accepting full responsibility for your human being. So yeah, so if anybody, if you wanted to be inspired by something and you're in that dynamic or situation, be inspired by that. Like, once upon a time, $20, $50, and no complaints, no stress, nothing, just thank you. So anywho, though, so now we're on the allocated spending, and you guys know this is where the rubber meets the road, right? So the Quickstart budget is what you need to spend your money on. The cash flow budget is where your money is going after you've taken care of your needs and your wants and your debts. The allocated spending is when your money is going there. So when means when you get paid, how are you going to spend the money? This is the form that everybody skips. This is the form that everybody should not skip. This form matters. You need to do this form. So I pay myself on the 1st and the 15th. And I'll pay myself $2,500 on the 1st and $2,500 on the 15th. And the first thing that I take out is my tithes. And my child support. Yeah, and there's such a bad stigma associated with child support too. I would love to change that. As you guys see me happily paying my child support and including additional other expenses. I don't pay my rent at the beginning of the month because my rent is paid a month in advance, so I don't have to worry about that. But I will pay my electricity and my gas. And I listened, you guys said don't do the front to back. You are right. I only had it printed on the one side this time. So for my groceries, I will do a big haul. Will I do a big haul at the beginning? Yes, I'll do the bulk of the haul at the beginning. So I'll do like a 175, let me see, what's my grocery budget? 250. So 125, if I do 125, then how much, what could I get from there? maybe I'll do 200, and then I'll have 50 to spread out. That feels like a lot. I'll do 150. I think I'll do 150, and then I have 75 that I can do in store, and then about 75 that I can order. Yeah. Okay. So I will do 150 out of my first pay period, and then no, that's not. Yeah, 150, and then I'll have 100 that I can spend. Okay. But I can spend 7. Yes. Okay, so then I'll do 150 out of my first paycheck for my grocery haul. Let me go back and get my numbers so I can subtract. And that will also allow me a little bit of money for when I go home. So then we decided against clothing, so we don't have to worry about that. Of the 75, so I will go to therapy. Will I go to therapy next week? No. The week after that. Okay, so I guess, but I mean, we'll do 25 for my Uber up here up front, and then we'll put the other 50 at the end of the month, because I feel like I'll be doing more back and forth at the end of the month, and I pray that Uber shifts its prices, because good googly moogly. Don't have any of those expenses. So then life insurance comes out at the beginning of the month. So mine is $26.50. Health insurance, $150. And then renter's insurance, $575. Goes $1,062.75. Okay. All right. The therapy will come out at the end of the month. Gym, PT, all that comes out at the end of the month. So most of these expenses, all of my personal expenses, come out at the end of the month. So then we'll go ahead and pay student loan. We'll pay my larger student loan at the beginning of the month. We'll send $939.67. And then that leaves $123.08. So it'll leave me with $123.08 in my checking account. And I'm just gonna drop this down here to show that this is what's left over in my checking account. So what I take with this number, so that way my allocated spending equals 0, is I take this $123.08 and I add it to the deposit that I'm gonna make of $2,500, because this will be the new balance in my checking account for me to subtract from, right? So my new balance that I'm working with is $2,623.08. Okay, so then we do the same thing that we did for the first column, and I will pay my rent out of that, $937. So 2623.08 minus 937 equals minus 937 equals 168608. Okay, we don't have to pay those because we took care of those already. Then we'll do the other half of my grocery budget of 100. And we'll do the other half of my transportation, which is 75. Okay. Then we will come here and take out my personal expenses. So therapy will be $140. therapy will be $140. Then gym is $49.99. Then personal trainer is $50. Then physical therapy for my son is $250. And then trip to my hometown is $280, 56. 740, 53. Okay. And then we'll come here and we'll pay my minimum on my undergrad, $1715.53. Oh man, I didn't do the number right. Darn it. Ugh. There's only $25 left over, not 50, so that's not. So I didn't do my math right. Dang it. Oh, now I gotta go back up. Dang it. It's $25 off, so now I gotta find that $25. Feel like, oh, it's right here. That's where it's at. Because I gave myself a full 75, if that makes sense. Remember, my full budget for transportation is 75, but I put 75 here, and this should actually say 50. So that this plus this equals 75. So that's where that number is off. So let's get that fixed. Thank goodness. See, this is why you got to keep doing the budget. You see that skill? You see how I slid right back over there? This would have taken me 20 minutes 2 years ago. But I've been practicing. So now it was very easy for me to find it. Oh, this is, guys, listen. Do a budget every single month before the month begins. It will blow your mind. I found that so quick. Think about that math error. Think about how many math errors I used to make. Like, I wouldn't have never, ever been able to find that quickly before. But like now, because I'm learning how to money manage, like money makes so much sense to me that I can, oh, that feels like awesomeness. Feels great. And I'm just gonna cross these numbers out so that they reflect the real thing. Maybe I should wait to celebrate until I get all the way to the end, but I think we're gonna be good to go. Oh man, you just gotta keep whatever you do, no matter how much it sucks. Like, be willing to let it suck for just long enough for you to learn. I can't believe I just found that. Oh. Oh my goodness. 765.53. Okay. Then minus, yep, there we go. There we go. And then, you know, that 50 just is an actual 50 that we're going to pay towards that. So once that's paid, then we actually have zero left over. Hope that makes sense. Yes. Oh, this form used to be so hard. Dear God. This form used to be so hard, guys. You don't even understand. And this is the form that we want to avoid the most, because this is the form that actually culls up all your emotion. Mara Nicole said she can't find the forms. If you just, any of my budget videos, there will be a link in the description box. But this is the form that calls up the most emotion, because you have to say, I'm going to get paid on the 1st, and this is what I'm going to pay. I'm going to get paid on the 15th, and this is what I'm going to pay. You have to literally look at what you're going to do with your money before you actually get it. And it just makes you, it's stressful. And then it's like all these pages, it's stressful. But when you do this form right, the errors that you make are so much less. Like, there's like, I'm not confused, right? So when I get this money on the first, all I have to do is follow this and I will be on budget. The only thing that I have to manage is for my emotions that are going to come up and basically make me want to do something else. We do this budget because we need to see what it looks like to have our wants and our needs together, right? Debts are a want, personal is a want. We need to be able to see, well, what is it really costing me to get my debts paid and my wants paid? We need to be able to see that, and then we need to be able to see this so we can figure out what it costs to just have our wants taken care of. So Living Naturally said, isn't housing $937 plus $575? So on the Quickstart budget, yes, it is, because it brings in your insurance here. But if you notice, when we switch over to the cash flow plan, instead of having my insurance in this bucket, it brings all of my insurances over to this page. That is a little bit confusing. I'm not exactly for sure why they did that, but I do have it accounted for over here. And in the beginning of my journey, that really did used to trip me up a lot. But you can see that on the quick start with this one pager, it's all there, and then it moves. So yes. So, okay, so this is all that I have for the budget. What I'm gonna do is pop out and then pop back on, and we are going to do a Q&A. So the questions that you have here in this box, I will leave this screen up so that way I can get these questions, I can answer these questions. If you're thinking of any questions now, just type them out in a little note so you can copy and paste them in the next video so that way I can get those answered. But as it stands right now, I am feeling GOOD about the March budget. And I really appreciate you guys helping me to get through the whole, am I going to go see my son? Am I going to get him clothes? Like, what I really appreciate you guys just holding space for that, because man, my little heart, I'm so raw. So incredibly raw right now. So yes, let me see. I just want to make sure I have this pulled up in a way to where I don't lose your questions. Because the last time I thought I had it pulled up in a way where I didn't lose your questions, still lost your questions. Because YouTube has changed some things. See, I might lose your questions. I may not, but I'm gonna try to not lose your questions and just pop out and pop back on. So I will see you guys in about 30 seconds.